Good morning, class. Today, I will give you my impact student learning. I am Tashawn Williams Hart, grade at the top of K through 5. Students' grade was K through 5. Well, the class was K through 5, and majority of the lesson plans I did kindergarten, and the last lesson plan I did 5th grade. Now it's a student. Devontae was one of my main students I used throughout the semester, and he's from Newport. He likes to make music, listen to music, and I kind of knew him coming into the class. And he wasn't my group member that I started that I was supposed to be with, but me and him kind of grouped together throughout the year. But I still got with my regular group, and my regular group was Martin and Gabriella. And it just the challenges that I faced through this is I was nervous with any other group. For example, I was nervous with Gabriella and Martin because I just wasn't used to them, and I kind of didn't know them like that. But with Devontae, I knew him already, so I was kind of more comfortable. I was in a comfortable setting, I felt like. And overcoming the challenges of what I did was just kind of ease my way to calm myself down and not be nervous, just communicate better. Communication with students and teacher professor. If I had any concerns or with homework, would it pertain to the next day of the next class or any other work throughout the semester, I would communicate with my professor via email. Classroom environment. The classroom environment. The three spots that we used for the environment was classroom, auxiliary gym, and dance room. The main source that we used was the auxiliary gym because we couldn't really use the big gym like we normally would have. Influence on classroom management. I would say modifications for sure. Just because in the auxiliary gym we were limited, basically. We just put it like that. We were limited to what we could do, and otherwise, if we was in the big gym, we wouldn't be necessarily limited because we have so much space to do what we need to get done. And so we had to modify a lot of things, but also we will have to modify just for the intellectual and disabilities and disabled students as well. I always use modifications for that. Influence in learning. Like I said, I think it was we kind of limited it. We had to limit our production. By limiting our production, we still got what we needed done. So our students still got what we needed out of the lesson plan. But by that being said, if we were in the big gym, we wouldn't be limited at all. I wouldn't feel like we had a limited production out of it. The routine just kept it simple but repetitive at the same time. Kept it simple and repetitive. By that, like I always start them off of what we did last class, then get them to recall what they did last class, and by that, then we'll get you into what we were going through, what we're gonna do at lesson plan today. Routine effectiveness. I say yes by staying consistent of being repetitive. By that, they should students feed off that, and by them being working through repetitive, they learn better like that. Learning activities and rationale. Lesson focus. Lesson 1 focus point was movement concepts in general subspace. Lesson 2, we had to do lesson point was locomotor skills. It was kind of fed off lesson 1, where we just added more locomotor moves. Lesson 3, the point was to teach a student dance off of locomotor movements, and it developed into a dance. So we developed all locomotor skills in one dance. Lesson 4, the focus point was the dribbling with hands and feet, which required a soccer ball and a basketball. Lesson 5, the focus point was striking with an implement, badminton, tennis, for example. Lesson 6, the lesson was focus of the lesson was game skills, but I used whistle ball for the game that I chose, and that games required catching and passing. Next thing we have is objectives. Objectives of lesson 1, we identified 2 pathways using either feet, arms, or both while moving in general space. And then they had to identify 2 basic body shapes, either subspace and general space, or both. Lesson 2, perform 4 locomotor movements in subspace while maintaining balance. And they had to perform 4 locomotor movements in a straight pathway while maintaining a balance. Lesson 3, they had to perform at least 2 sets of 16 combination of 1, which equal to 32 beats, maintaining rhythm and balance as well. And then had to perform at least 2 sets of 16 beats of combination 2 while maintaining rhythm and balance. Lesson 4, had to drill the ball using inside the foot, keeping the ball 3 to 5 feet close. And we had to do the 5 to 10 yards away out of 3 to 5 attempts. And out of that time, demonstrating them, they had to do 3 out of 5 critical elements. Lesson 5, had to drop a balloon with a non-dominant hand and strike it upward, forward to a target object with just preferred hand. Lesson 6, they had key cues of passing 3 out of 5 times in groups for whistle ball, and key cues of catching 3 out of 5 times in groups for whistle ball. Activities. Lesson 1, the activity we did, we had the students doing locomotor moves and curvy, straight, zigzag pathways. And while they were doing it, they were twirling a wand in their hand while they was doing those locomotor movements. Lesson 2, they had to perform 4 locomotor movements in general space while maintaining balance. So we had them doing galloping, hopping, skipping, and all in the general space while maintaining a balance. Lesson 3, had to perform at least 2 sets of 16 beats of combination 3 while maintaining rhythm and balance. So we had them doing basically locomotive movements, but all into a dance that all equipped into being a on beat and balance locomotive movements that came into a dance. Lesson 4, we had to dribble a ball while walking into the selected pathway with preferred hand, demonstrating at least 2 consecutive touches over 5 to 10 yards, and distance demonstrating 3 out of 5 critical elements. Lesson 5, in the application side game, strike rally, they had to bounce the ball over the net using preferred hand, completing 2 out of 5 attempts, demonstrating 3 out of 5 critical elements. And then lesson 6 was the key cues of catching 3 out of 5 times in the groups for whistle ball. This just continued from learning activities and rationale. This is just grade level outcomes. So lesson 1, chose standard 1 and standard 2. Lesson 2, I chose standard 1. Lesson 3, I chose standard 1. Lesson 4, we did standard 1. And then lesson 5, we did standard 1. Lesson 6, I chose standard 1 and standard 1. The coordination with mentor and teacher instructor, I think I shadowed my instructor as followed throughout the semester, what he taught us. Teaching effectiveness. The strengths, I said my strengths was explaining instruction and giving sandwiches, for example. like with Devontae, I feel like I gave good instructions and I explained to him well, to the point that he fed off me and listened to my instructions, and he did the right movements and right instruction that I gave him. But sometimes I kind of struggled, like with other groups. I guess I didn't explain it as well that I should have, because I was comfortable with him, so I kind of like explained it but didn't explain it fully. But I always gave good sandwiches. Improvements, I say for sure better transition and more enthusiasm. Like I said, I knew Devontae, and like I wasn't very enthusiastic to like give out what I was supposed to do. And so I already when I was doing with another group, I was nervous. So by me being nervous, I wasn't enthusiastic at all. So I feel like I need to improve on that. Even though if I know somebody or don't know them, I need to improve on that and have better transitions. Other reteaching ways, the way I taught a lesson. So if I was more enthusiastic, then I feel like I would have brought more to the lesson, and it wouldn't just be just more of just teaching them instruction and getting feedback. If I had being more enthusiastic and add creativity to my student, then I feel like I would have made the lesson more fun, and they would probably understand more, by the way, because that's just how I would have been better off. Conclusion, I say these clinicals were successful and very productive. Throughout the year, repetition was key. You can tell about the steps that we performed to our students. It was key. And giving feedback to our students was also key. But I feel like throughout the year, I became a more developed physical educator for my students. And I feel like this will help me. And also, I feel like what I need to improve on, if I work on that throughout the year and throughout my career, I will be a better teacher at the end of my career.